Republican senators demanding answers from the administration. UN Ambassador Susan Rice, in a letter to her, they say that the deadly attack looked like a spontaneous outgrowth, she said, of the protests on 9/11 in Egypt. But Senators John McCain, Lindsey Graham, and Kelly Ayotte suggesting that Rice may have known more. They write, quote, "It was already clear that the attack in Libya was a terrorist attack. We also knew that there was a significant network of al-Qaeda affiliated groups and other terrorists in eastern Libya," end quote. There's more on that letter I'll get to in a moment. Captain Chuck Nash, Fox News military analyst, former U.S. Navy captain. And sir, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill.
Do you have any doubt?
No. I think it is what it is. From the beginning, it had all of the hallmarks of a planned operation. It was precise. They hit two objectives. The fire was pretty well concentrated, and there may have been a flash mob that came in afterward to join in, or maybe there were some demonstrators there in advance. But this thing looks like it was an operation, almost with military precision, operation that was successfully conducted by those guys. And so we can call it whatever we want. Whether it was a terrorist attack, which it was, or some kind of a militia operation. But the Libyan government in the last couple days has been going out with the forces under their control and some supportive militias and literally taking down the compounds and wiping out 4 of these Islamist militias. So the president of Libya himself has even said that it was a planned strike. So I don't know why we keep
let me get to the president of Libya
this.
from NBC in an interview that aired this morning in a moment. But with regard to these militia headquarters in Benghazi,
yeah,
why don't we take them out? 2 o'clock in the morning? Send a strong message? I mean, you know what resides in eastern Libya. This is a hotbed of Muslim extremism.
Well, it was the 3rd largest contributor of foreign fighters to al-Qaeda in Iraq who were killing Americans. So, yeah, it was a prime recruiting ground for Islamist forces. I think the short answer to that is that the Libyan government, this new Libyan government that we helped put in power, is desperate to show that they want to take care of things and that they're going to clean this up. So I think they're going to do that all on their own. Now, what we have to do is make sure that it wasn't one of those, okay, we'll round up the usual suspects kind of thing. We have to make sure that we're getting the full truth of what's going on there, and not that they're just doing a little house cleaning.
Yeah, this could be a long, bloody battle in that country.
Yeah.
We may just start to see the beginning of this. Back to the letter from the senators. These facts did not prevent, it reads, you from labeling the murder of 4 Americans as a spontaneous reaction to the video and not an expression of hostility toward the United States. If the murder of 4 American diplomats is not an expression of hostility, it's difficult to know what would be. What would qualify for that?
Yeah, ouch. That's pretty pointed language, and I think what they're taking the ambassador to task for is that well after just about everyone, including the president of Libya, had identified this as a terrorist attack, she was still going with the story that it was a totally random event, therefore we couldn't have prevented it, and I think she's going to have to back off that statement.
Well, you mentioned the Libyan president. He sat down with Ann Curry. This is what he said happened there. Roll this.
The attack on the consulate was pre-planned, whether with the intention of killing Ambassador Stevens or not. That's it's too early to say.
What he's saying is that it was pre-planned and had nothing to do with this video. Yet the video was still talked about even at the UN yesterday by the president. Also on this week he went on The View and said the best way to marginalize that kind of speech, referring to the film, is to ignore it. What's the effect then of talking about it day after day?
I don't know, because this thing is getting more play than it did when it ran in Los Angeles. The reports that came out were that it ran for a day, maybe 2 days, in some obscure little theater called The Vine, and nobody really saw this thing. So it's getting far too much play, and most of these demonstrators, in fact, I'll bet you 99% of the demonstrators in the 20 countries where there have been demonstrations and riots over this, haven't even seen the film, nor have the organizers who have organized all of these mobs and protests.
But you're probably right about that one. But
yeah.
When American leaders go out and talk about the film again, you know their words are translated immediately into Arabic on Al Jazeera television.
And
so
there you go.
know they're being picked up in broadcasts. And then the question comes back to, what is the effect of that?
Well, the effect of that, I think, is, it unfortunately can be used by people who don't have our best interests at heart to spur on these mobs. But the other thing is that, unfortunately, it makes it appear as if we're trying to write off a terrorist attack on a random event that was unpredictable, and therefore there's no blame to be had, when in fact that's not what happened, and it's time to man up.
Chuck Nash, thank you.